Greetings, brothers. Welcome to the Blood Angels Commander channel.
Hello, good evening. You hear me okay? How is everybody tonight? Welcome to our Sunday Army List show. It is the 2nd of February. This year is passing very, very quickly. And we've got a bit of a mixed bag tonight. We've got some Liberator Assault Group, we've got some Angelic Inheritors, and we even have an Angelic Host list. I think probably when we get to the Angelic Host list, we're going to recommend that you change it to Angelic Inheritors, but it's there nonetheless. So 5 lists to look at tonight. My voice is a bit hoarse for some reason, I'm not sure, so if I'm difficult to understand, I do apologise. Hello everybody though, and if you get some value out of tonight's show, remember to leave a like on the show, I do appreciate it, or subscribe if you're new, and if you want your list on a future Army List show, then the way to do that is when the show ends, put your list as a comment, is as a text file, like you see here, one of these text files, put it as a comment on this stream, and then you'll be in the running for being included in a future show. Simple as that, really. Hello everybody, thanks again for being here. Let's get into the first army list for tonight. It is by Alexander McPherson. It's always nice to see people that submit lists in chat. So hello. So this is an Angelic Inheritor, or Lag. and designed to be used with the new Oath of Moment +1 to wound bonus. Alright, so we're playing Bloodless Angels. Potentially Bloodless Angels, Angelic inheritors. Interesting. I'm considering dropping 2 units of scouts to upgrade intercessors to Stern Guard. We've got Blade Guard and Impulsor with Juxar with a no Overwatch enhancement to take the middle. Our detachment bonus allows Blade Guard to use the shield option, so they get rerolls to 1 on their invulnerable save. Yes, because they reroll 1s to hit and wound because of the detachment. The Reaver Bomb is to attack the enemy's home objective and then use Shadow to prevent them from being shot outside 18 inches, so that enemy will reroute units to deal with the Reavers. Okay, Chaplain in a Terminator armor, Chaplain on a bike, Judasar, who's with Blade Guard, a Librarian who is with Intercessors or Stern Guard, and a Phobos Librarian who I'm assuming is probably going to be with Infiltrators, right? So, 10 Intercessors. I guess they do get 4 shots per guy now with their new improved bolt rifles. So, I mean, they can kill some things with bolt rifle fire. We've got an Impulsor, which would be for the Blade Guard. We've got Assault Intercessors with jump packs. I don't think they're super great and Angelic inheritors. But, I mean, I guess they can kill some things. You can still give them lethal hits, for example. Do you know, someone pointed out in a live stream last night, they were like, are Vanguard veterans decent in Angelic inheritors? Just because they're like strength 5. Like, are Vanguard veterans more meaningful Angelic inheritors than jump assault intercessors? It's a good question, right? Not many people have played Vanguard veterans since they're 110 points. They're 20 points more than the jump intercessors, but they do get a 4-up feel no pain. They do get lethal hits. And they do get 1 more strength. Like I said, not many people are playing them, but I guess if you had 20 points left at the end of the list, there could be worse things to do with it in Angelic inheritors than like Vanguard veterans with a character might be meaningful. I need to try that, I guess. Ballistus Dreadnought, Blade Guard, Infiltrators for the Phobos Librarian, Outriders for the Chaplain, Outriders again, just because 2 Outriders units is great. Reavers with the Lieutenant and Phobos armor. Did I get confused there? No. Oh, right, yeah, Lieutenant and Phobos armors with the Reavers, not the Infiltrators. My mistake, okay. It's the Phobos Librarian that normally goes with Infiltrators, sure. And then double Scouts, then Terminator Squad, then double Vindicator Tank. And then you've got 2 sources of +1 to wound, right? So, I guess if you're going to play Bloodless Angels, Chaplain and Terminator makes a lot of sense. That's +1 to wound. Chaplain with the bikes makes a lot of sense. That's +1 to wound. The Blade Guard could potentially get +1 to wound from Oath. The Intercessors could get +1 to wound for all this massive amounts of bolt rifle fire. A single Ballistus Dreadnought and 2 Vindicator Tanks is good. Vindicator Tanks with +1 to wound, love it. Ballistus Dreadnought with +1 to wound, also kind of love it. 2 Scouts for scoring options. Missile launchers in the Scouts, it's good. Reavers to assault the backfield objective, it's good. I think the thing I probably don't like is that there's only like 2... There's only 2 hard-hitting melee units, really, like the Terminators and the Blade Guard, and they're not particularly fast. And is that +1 wound better than having like 2 or 3 units of 3 Sangre Guard that can jump around the map very fast. I do not know. Could we get some more likes on the stream, says Jason. Yeah, that'd be nice. We're at 22, we get 72 people. 72 people watching. Good evening. Holy crap. That's a lot for a Sunday. So Bloodless Angels did pretty well at LVO. There was a guy, Innes, who was playing the Bloodless Angels. I wonder if I can see his list real quick. Innes, Wilson, 40k, LVO, Bloodless Angels. I don't know how well... I don't know if I can see his list. Let me see. I'm not finding it. I think I did see it. Annoyingly. Annoyingly, I'm not going to be able to find it right now, am I? I'll try Google one more time, see if I can find it. Yeah, I'm not subscribed to BCP, I'm afraid. Oh, maybe, might have it. Yes, I have it. Okay, cool. So this was the Bloodless Angels list that he was running. So he did like the double captain, one with Rage Shield Warrior, and a Librarian and Phobos. And then it was like Assault Intercessors, Regular Intercessors, 2 Impulsors, Jump Intercessors, Jump Intercessors, Jump Intercessors, Desolation Marines, Incursors, Infiltrators, Reavers, Scouts, Stern Guard, Double Vindicator. You know, it doesn't feel like that list has a whole lot of damage output on it. You know that? Like, as the 2 captains, there's a lot of trading units in the 3 Jump Intercessors. Infiltrators to give you +1 to hit, I guess, for the Vindicator tanks. Vindicator tanks that can get +1 to wound. Yeah, I mean, it's not my favourite list. It really isn't. But I guess +1 to wound is just generally very strong. I guess if you've got double Vindicator tank and you hit both target at the same time, you can do a lot of killing power. I don't mind this, I suppose. I just think I like Sangre Guard too much. I think in Angelic Inheritors, 3 units of 3 Sangre Guard, all built with a character, like 2 captains and Dante, I just think it's really good. 3 units of Sangre Guard is like 390 points, 2 captains and Dante, it's like another 300. So you're spending like 700 points for that, right? But I feel like you're getting a lot out of it. It's like 130 times 3, plus 85, plus 85, plus whatever Dante is. I think he's 130. Yeah. So you're spending 700 points, but I feel like you are getting a lot out of that. And the Sangre Guard can often get +1 to wound from their stratagems. They get additional strength when they charge because they're captains, or they get additional hits with Dante. I think going double Vindicator is obviously good. A lot of people do it. I think going double Vindicator with 1 other fire support in this situation, a Ballistic Dreadnought, is obviously pretty good as well. Fight First Blade Guard are useful for sure. Outriders are useful for sure. Terminator's reasonably decent. Yeah, I feel like this list could go either way. Liberator Assault Group or Angelic Inheritors, maybe slightly stronger in Angelic Inheritors. But yeah, I understand, like, some people like Bloodless Angels. I don't think I'm going to do it. I think I'm going to stick, like, I know the Death Company data sheets kind of suck at the moment, but the Sanguinary Guard are okay. They're definitely playable, right? Hello, Zach. Alright, let's move on to the next list. This is 2,000 points Liberator Assault Group, and we've got the Rage Captain. We've got a Captain with a Jump Pack. We've got a Chaplain with Fight First enhancement. We've got Librarian and Terminate Armor, and we've got the Combi Weapon Lieutenant. So, we're going to see an Impulsor with a unit of Assault Intercessors for the Captain on foot with Rage. We're going to see another Impulsor, I assume with the Blade Guard. We're going to see 2 units of Jump Intercessors, a 10 and a 5. We're going to see double Gladiator Lancer. We're going to see Infiltrators, double Scouts, and Terminators. Hey John, I submitted this list not too long ago, but I wanted to change things up. Just wanted to focus a bit more on melee, as I have some tanks in the mix. Yeah, so double Gladiator Lancer is decent, right? Like, it is decent, but I think the tournament I was at recently, there was a Blood Angels player playing double Gladiator Lancer, and he ended up, like, quite further down the rankings than me. And I think the problem I have with double Gladiator Lancer is sometimes you can just get a matchup that you don't need anti-tank against. Like, you're playing Guardsman. Cool. So my Lancer for 160 points kills 2 Guardsmen a turn. You know, like, it's that's why Vindicator tanks are so prevalent, I guess, in the competitive scene, because they can kill anything. Vindicator tanks can kill characters, they can kill elite infantry, they can kill vehicles. Whereas a Lancer does one specific job, and yeah, maybe it's more efficient than a Vindicator tank for killing vehicles, but if you come up a matchup where you don't need to kill vehicles, then it's kind of wasted points. It's not bad, but it's not ideal. Like Frag Storm Grenade Launchers, the Rocket Pods, the Heavy Stubbers. I mean, they're kind of worthless guns, right? Infiltrators are good, double Scouts is good. A 10-man Terminator squad with the Librarian. The Blade Guard, the double Impulsor. Like, this list has a lot of durability, I guess, but, like, there's no Sanguinary Guard here. Actually, is this a... I was going to say, this is another +1 to Oath of Moment list, isn't it? Because there isn't actually anything Blood Angel specific in this list, you just didn't write it. Because Captains, Chaplains, Librarians, Lieutenants are not Blood Angel specific. Neither are Impulsors, neither are Jump Intercessors, neither are Blade Guard, neither are Gladiator Lancers, neither are Terminators. Okay, so this is someone else going Bloodless Angels. I don't mind this Bloodless Angels thing. I think it's fine. I just think I like having jump units too much. I think jump units are very valuable just because of the speed of them, right? I guess Liberator Assault Group has advance and charge, but I just think that having jump units is generally my preferred thing. If it was me and I was dead set on taking 2 tanks, I'd probably try and find the points to make this 2 Vindicator tanks. Like, I'd probably take one... I'd probably save 70 points off these Jump Intercessors with... excuse me. Jump Intercessors. Just change this into a 5-man or something and make these 2 Gladiator tanks. I'd have 40 points left over. I'm not entirely sure what I can do with 40 points left over. Yeah, I'm not really sure what I could do with 40 points left over. I mean, I guess I could drop Gift of Foresight, for example, and take a Tech Marine for 55 points, and then one of my 2 Vindicator tanks could get repaired and +1 to hit all the time. Does anyone feel like Blade Guards suck compared to Sandguard? Not sure. Not as expensive, but add in the Impulsor and they are. They're weaker base strength. They're way more likely to die. I think the trick with Blade Guard, though, man, is... because I just played them at a tournament, right? the enemy can't engage on them if they're inside the Impulsor. So yes, 6 Blade Guard with an Impulsor and a character are probably like 330 points, is that right? It's like 180 plus 80 plus 85, yeah, maybe even more, like 345 points. The difference is like like let's say you play against orcs, for example. I had a game against orcs, and he's gonna wag. You know he's gonna wag, and he wants to wag in like turn 2 or 3 and charge you. And all he'll be able to charge is an Impulsor, right? Because the Impulsor's sitting on the objective. So sure, like that literally happened in my game against orcs. The orc player charges in with Gaskell Thraka and all his Mega Knobs, because I think he had Gaskell and 3 Mega Knob bodyguards, and cool, they kill the Impulsor, right? I'm like, okay, sure, you killed the Impulsor. Well, now all my Blade Guard just spill out. I don't, maybe I rolled a more, I don't actually think I got any mortal wounds when they exploded the transport, but regardless, I think my guys all spill out, and now I'm, like, I don't care about losing the transport if it means that my whole unit's going to get to charge you and kill the crap out of your guys. And that's something that Sangre Guard don't have the luxury of. Because, like, I like to just push my Impulsors quite far forward and just, like, put pressure with those Impulsors in the early game. And just be like, yeah, you, like, what are you going to do? You can't put pressure on my Impulsors. Or, well, I mean, you can put pressure on my Impulsors, but to what end, right? Like, I was wondering if I've got a photo of one of the games where I had Impulsor pushed forward. Hold on a second. Where was the game against orcs? This is it. Did I take a photo of the table? That's the movie. Yeah, like on this game, he had all his orcs hiding here, right? Like, I kind of have to step onto this objective. I kind of have to, like, this Impulsor already stepped onto this objective. So, like, if he wants to kill this Impulsor, well, he's going to have to commit all the guys inside here to charge over here, kill the Impulsor. I don't care. It's an 80-point Impulsor. Same thing happened here. Like, this Impulsor just, like, drives up and touches this ever so slightly. It means all these orcs, which I know are going to move out, advance, and charge. Well, cool, they kill the Impulsor. Again, I literally, like, if his biggest, nastiest, most deadliest squad of guys kills an Impulsor, and my 6-man Blade Guard and Chaplain disembark, I mean, for me, that's a massive win, right? Like, he's literally had to commit all his good units into no man's land, and I'll just mop them all up. So I don't necessarily think Impulsors and Blade Guard are they much, like, in a raw fight, yeah. I guess a unit of Sangre Guard probably kill a unit of Blade Guard pretty easily. In a raw fight, the Sangre Guard are -1 to hit, -1 to wound. Yeah, sure, there's all that going for them. But the Impulsor is like, what, toughness 11? No, sorry, toughness 9, 11 wounds. And it's just ablative wounds. It just means that they've got to do 11 wounds before they can even get to killing anything that you've got of value. You always have access to jump intercessors and Vanguard veterans regardless of whether you're bloodless or not. Yeah, I know, but I think they're a lot... I was going to say, I think just jump intercessors are a lot worse without a character in Angelic inheritors. I think that what makes jump intercessors good is the +2 strength from Liberator assault group, right? If I have the Blade Guard with the Judasar, do I need the Impulsor? Well, sometimes maybe, sometimes no, I suppose, right? Blade Guard don't really survive all that great against shooting. They only have a 3-up save. It only takes 1 8-point of AP to put them on a 4-up save, right? So yeah, I think, well, I am hotter on Vindicator tanks than I am on Gladiator Lancers. I'd even be hotter on running like one Vindicator tank and like one Predator Destructor or one Ballistus Dreadnought over 2 Lancers. I just think it gives you a little bit more flexibility. The nice thing about the Ballistus Dreadnought as well is it does have 2d6 frag, which is really, really useful fighting against like guardsmen and orcs, right? Like a 20-man guardsman squad, sure, I'll take blast plus 4 shots against you and re-rolling all hits because I'm a Ballistus Dreadnought usually. I think that's pretty useful. So yeah, I think another decent Blood Angels Bloodless list, I guess. But yeah, I mean, I think that there's matchups where the Gladiator Lancers are amazing, but there's enough matchups where I don't really like the Lancers. Can you disembark into engagement range after a transport was destroyed in melee? No, you cannot. But they might be able to pile into you. And remember, when you are disembarked, you are indeed battle shocked. Your argument that the Impulsor takes the whole activation is quite nice. Sometimes the Impulsor will take 2 activations, dude, because it's got a 5-up invuln save. In the game I played against Tau, the guy shot the Impulsor with a railgun. I played a game against Tau and they had that battlesuit thing, the Tallnar battlesuit. You know what? I took a photo of it because it was kind of funny, right? Let me find the photo. Downloads. I'm going to use this for the thumbnail when I... Yeah, look, there's my scout. That's my scout for scale. So I fought against this town. I never even knew this was a thing, to be honest. But I fought against this Tau thing. I think it was called like the Taunar battlesuit. I'd never fought against one before. I thought the biggest thing Tau got was like the flying thing. What's that called again? I know they get the Tiger Shark. I think this was called the Tornar Supremacy Armor. Yeah, I think this was it. 30 wounds, 2-up, toughness 13. It's like 790 points. Yeah, I fought against this in the GT that I was at. And I took a photo with my scout for scale to show you how ridiculous this thing was. So basically anything it could see. Look at this cannon it's got. Where is it? Heavy rail cannon. Devastating wounds. Strength 26. AP -5. Damage 16. So he shot my Impulsor with this. I rolled a couple of 5-ups. It was fucking glorious. Because when I asked him, I was like, how much damage does that cannon do? And he's like, 16. And I was like, from each shot? Like flat 16? He's like, oh yeah, flat 16 dev wounds. And I was like, oh, my little 80-point Impulsor rolling its 5-ups. How good are Impulsors? Yeah. Where to submit a list? At the end of the stream, put your list in the comment section. That's how you do it. The Emperor protects, indeed, Michael. The flyer is way bigger. I mean, the flyer has a much bigger footprint. I think that thing was crazy. That thing must have been like, I don't know how many inches tall it was, but like how many scouts? It was. I mean, I feel like it was like 3 feet tall, honestly. But yeah, I never even fought against it, but I never even knew what it was. How did I kill it? I think I Oath of Momented it and hit it with like the Vindicator tank, the Predator, the Ballistus Dreadnought, and then I Rapid Ingress Dante and his Sanguinary Guard, and I charged them and Red Rampaged it as well. I think the one thing it doesn't have going for it, it doesn't have a great save in melee, right? Like, it's got a 2-up save, but only a 5-up invuln, so the Sangre Guard are making it save on 5s. And it doesn't have, like, -1 damage or anything. And with lethal hits, and +1 to hit, and +1 to wound, like, I think 4 Sangre Guard killed. I don't even think I had to roll Dante at that point. So I did 10 wounds to it with all my shooting. And then I finished off the 20 wounds with the 6 Sangre Guard. I'm like convinced I didn't have to roll Dante's attacks into it because the Sangre Guard had already killed it. But yeah, I mean, like in turn 1, it was like, oh, this thing just blows 2 units off the map most of the time. In turn 2, this thing blows 2 units off the map most of the time. It also has like a 10 shot. Yeah, because it's got this. The Fusion Eradicators, it's got 2 of them. So it's 10 shots, strength 10, AP 4, D6 damage, melt 3, 24 inches. And yeah, like, turn 1, I saved the railguns on, like, the 5-up invuns, and then when it shot again, I think it just do you know what, I must have not shot it with the Ballistus Dreadnought, because I'm pretty sure the railgun just instantly deleted the Ballistus Dreadnought. It was just like one shot, boom, 16 damage, you're dead. I love how they make those crazy guns and give them like 120 inches of range. Like, what are they even thinking? Anyway, Wind Whistler. This is list number 3 for tonight. I saw you mention 6 Smash Captains as a joke. Oh god. So I decided to make an actual list out of it and see how it looks. Here's my submission for the Army List show. I took Orbital Comms Ray on the Impulsors. It normally seems like a waste, but with this menu you can probably get multiple rolls each turn to have a decent chance to get the extra CP. Orbital Comms Array. I guess that's instead of the Shield Dome. I feel like the Shield Dome, I've just explained why the Shield Dome's worth its weight in gold. I feel like I'd rather have the Shield Dome. And if you've got 6 captains, you're probably going to save a CP every turn anyway. So we've got a captain with Rage. We've got a captain with an Infernal Pistol on foot. A captain with an Infernal Pistol on foot. We've got 3 Okay, so this is going to just be 30 Assault Intercessors and 6 captains. Am I right? There's 30 Assault Intercessors, yes. Infiltrators, 2 Scouts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Impulsors, 2 Vindicator tanks, 2 units of Scouts, and an Infiltrator squad. Oh my god. Is this legitimately actually any good is the question. 6 Impulsors, 2 Vindicator tanks, 2 units of Scouts. Here's the thing, you probably don't need Scouts if you have 6 Impulsors. Because with 6 Impulsors, you're going to be doing actions with the Impulsors. You're going to be doing engage on all fronts with the Impulsors. You're going to be recovering assets or defending... Like, do you need the Scouts as well? Probably not. I think 6 Impulsors is probably a little crazy. You're just going to rush 6 Impulsors up the field. The opponent's going to blow up a couple of them. Maybe they get to charge what's inside one of them, maybe both of them. And then you just unload 4 Impulsors with Assault Intercessors. I mean, I think in practice, it sounds like it could be okay, but it's also going to come unstuck. Like, if you play against Death Guard, or an army that's got a crap load of flamers and can just deal with Assault Intercessor squads, then you're going to have problems, maybe. I mean, you can screen your home field pretty well with the Infiltrators, the Vindicator tanks. I guess you're getting the... Oh, you're not getting the +1 to wound because you've got those 3 captains. Can that many tanks even fit on the board? They can. Is it a good good way of playing, I'm not entirely sure. I've played a similar list. You've played 6 Impulsors, Mike? You own 6 Impulsors? Immeasurable Vortex says, I lost 64 v 87 versus Knights versus Imperial Knights today. It's the 4th time losing. I don't understand how you beat Knights with Blood Angels. The way you beat Knights is you have to literally kill 3 Knights every single turn. You can't be leaving Knights around on the board with like 1 or 2 health. So like if you, in turn 1, for example, if you target 3 different Knights and you leave one of them on 2 wounds, one of them on 3 wounds, and one of them on 1 wound, you're probably going to lose the game straight away. Like, you have to be consolidating down and killing. I mean, you can probably get away with killing 2 Armigers in any given turn, but for the like, Knights are probably going to be playing like 11 or 12 Armigers, right? Like, Armigers are like 130, 140 points, so what's that into 2,000? Like, so they're going to have somewhere in the region of like 13, 14 Armigers on the board. So yeah, I mean, I guess you can get away with a turn where you only kill 2, but you need to be realistically killing 3 Armigers every single turn. If you cannot kill 3 Armigers every turn, then you're going to really struggle to beat Knights. Because you need to, in the first couple of turns, you need to kill, let's say, like, 5 or 6. So then they have to actually start doing actions on Armigers that they don't want to be taking Knights and doing actions on Knights, right? Like, they want to be killing you and stuff like that. And if you can whittle them down, I've beaten regular Knights and Chaos Knights with Liberator Assault Group, but I've also lost to them badly, I guess. And it really does come down to sometimes a little bit of luck. Like, I remember the GT that I won. I was playing Chaos Knights, and there was literally, like, turn 1, I'd killed, like, 1 Chaos Knight, and I had another Chaos Knight that had 1 wound left on it. And I was like, oh, you've got to be joking me. I'm going to have to charge this Chaos Knight with a unit of scouts. And he's like, really? And I was like, yeah, I can't leave this knight with, like, 1 wound. So I'm charging them with the scouts, and I'm using Red Rampage on the scouts. Because I have to clink off this, like, 1 wound off this knight, so I killed 2 knights in turn 1. And I did. I think I literally did 1 wound to it. Or maybe I did 2, but you only had 1 command point to save one of them. And yeah. So it really comes down to that, right? Like, make sure you're fully killing knights. I don't know if I run a list with 6 Impulsors and 2 Vindicator tanks. I don't know how I really make the list better though, because I think at its core you'd need to, like, strip away certain things. Yeah. I think it's probably just too one-dimensional, right? Like, and it's all assault intercessors for the main part as well, and strength 4 assault intercessors, I guess on the charge are still strength 6, but they can still come kind of undone, right? Like, if you're playing demons, they have, like, toughness 13, great unclean ones. They don't really care about assault intercessors. If I'm facing knights, just concede it's not worth the time. You can beat knights with a crap load of chainswords, right? Like, I beat them in the summer, and my list was, like, super chainsword heavy. I had, like, 85 chainsword attacks per turn or something in my list. So you can beat them. You just need to use every trick you can get, like grenade them, use your tanks to whittle them down, charging them with scouts, right? Like, it's all about making sure you kill knights and not leaving knight. Like, if there's a knight walking around the battlefield with, like, 4 wounds left for, like, 2 or 3 turns, that's tragically bad, right? Like, you should never let that happen. And that's the difference between winning and losing the game, basically. Yeah, well, chain swords are just not. That's what I mean. Like I beat knights in the 4th game of a GT where the other player would have been on 100% record as well, and I had 85 odd chainsword attacks in my list. So what I'm saying is, it is doable, but you honestly just have to focus fire, and I feel like you, as a Space Marine player, you should have enough little units that can score that they don't really care about, so that should be able to keep you in the game while you spend 2 or 3 turns culling the number of knights on the list. Okay. Let's move on. Pixel Master. Hi, I'm new to 40k. I finally made a list. I was wondering if I can get some feedback and what you think can be modified. Okay. So, Dante's the leader, or the warlord, excuse me. He's got Lamartis and the Sanguinar. Okay, so we've got 10 Death Company Marines on foot. We've got 10 Death Company Marines with jump packs. We've got 5 Death Company Marines with jump packs. We've got 6 Sanguinary Guard. They'll be with Dante. We've got 5 Terminators with chain fists and power fists and assault cannon. I feel like if you've got one with a cyclone missile launcher, swap out the assault cannon. I think it's minor, but I just think the cyclone missile launcher is better. You've got a single Ballistus Dreadnought, you've got a single Death Company Dreadnought, and you've got a Land Raider Redeemer. Okay, interesting. It definitely looks like a list made by somebody new, right? Because, like, 1, 2, 3, 4 Death Company units in the list and only 1 chaplain. Like, that's going to be a problem in of itself, because Death Company need to be around chaplains to have objective control and to be allowed to fall back. So I would start by, like, there's 2 choices here. You either need to 100% add another chaplain, or you need to cut some of the Death Company units, because you've got too many. Death Company on foot are not really that strong. So I'd probably honestly cut the 10, but you could easily cut the Death Company Dreadnought as well. And it might be better to just cut those 10, change that Death Company Dreadnought into a regular Brutalis Dreadnought, save the points, cut the 10 here. If you did that, you'd get a squad of Infiltrators, which would be very useful. You could also maybe get a squad of Scouts, which are a great scoring choice. And then you maybe have enough points for I was going to say, you've only spent 1965, so you'd maybe have enough points for something else. Maybe even a Tech Marine to go with the Land Raider Redeemer, honestly. Keep it alive a little bit longer. But Infiltrators and Scouts are, like, super important. Infiltrators feel like they are such an important unit that you cannot go to a tournament without them. Yeah, I just think Infiltrators are so important. And Scouts are also such a great unit for scoring points and also for screening. This week I'm going to be doing a video about, like, the tournament I was just at, and I'll try and highlight how good the Scouts were and how good the Infiltrators are, because they are just, like, they're so critical to the success of Blood Angels, but they're a lot of what they do doesn't get sung about enough. Damien got wrecked by Nurgle Demons yesterday. 60 Plague Raiders, Great Unclean One, Rotigus. Great Unclean Ones can be pretty nasty with the toughness 13. It looks like the Death Company FOMO box from the list, says Jason. Yeah, I think so. Did the Death Company FOMO box actually come with Foot Death Company? No, but you could probably convert them, right? Yeah, I just think the Death Company on foot right now are not a worthwhile unit. No one runs them competitively. I mean, not too many people run Death Company with jump packs competitively, but I feel like they at least make sense to me. Death Company on foot just make no sense to me. I don't know why I'd ever run them. But yeah, Infiltrators and Scout. Like, if you just took that one unit and put a squad of Infiltrators and a unit of Scouts there, which is 170, that list just gets like twice as good straight off the bat. I'm also kind of off the Land Raider Redeemer, personally. I just think it's very expensive for what it brings. The Flamestorm cannons are nice into some matchups, but they are also kind of useless into some matchups. I think this is literally one of the reasons the Vindicator tank gets played so often. It's just because it's like units that are good into lots of matchups are like versatility, I guess, is key. I think that's one of the reasons that Angelic Inheritors is working so good with that 3 times 3 units of Sangre Guard. Because those Sangre Guard kill MSU units, they kill elites, and they can also kill vehicles. Right? Like, 3 Sangre Guard plus a character can do like a lot of work into a lot of different targets. But yeah, I think the other thing to say about this list is one of the biggest strengths of Liberator Assault Group, right, is like the jump intercessors as just trading units. Like a 90-point unit that can just trade with lots of things. I feel like if you're going to be playing Liberator Assault Group, like you could literally start every list with 3 units of jump intercessors. 1 unit is I know okay, I guess, but at least like not having any is a bit crazy. I feel like you definitely want jump intercessors. I mean, like I'd be tempted to say like you could drop a Death Company Dreadnought and add 2 units of 5 jump intercessors, and they would just be better. Because I don't really know how the Death Company Dreadnought, he waddles along the board and he gets shot and he's dead. Whereas the jump intercessors jump from cover to cover. They're hard to lock down. You can trade them at any point you want. They do mortal wounds when they charge. And then they have a boatload of chainsword attacks. And because they have so many chainsword attacks and the +2 strength, they can hit almost any target and do damage, right? Yeah, a lot of people are on Vindicator tanks at the moment. Here's the thing though, right? Vindicator tanks released this edition at like 210 points. Then they went down to 190. Then they went down to 175. It could be they are going to keep them at 175 while they sell off all the Vindicator tanks that are in stock. How about them apples? And then they'll Legends it in 11th edition. I mean, that's such a negative way to look at it, but it could be true. They just want to sell off all the Vindicator tanks. They must have some in stock. Element Games, Vindicator tank. They have 8 in stock with more on the way. They're all sold now? Apparently not. I don't know any other sites in the UK that tell you stock numbers, but Element does. Do you know what? I loved it. I've been playing the Vindicator tanks since this edition came out. I had 2 of them in my Gladius. Remember before Sons of Sanguinius was good and people were using Gladius? I had them in my Gladius list. I would have probably bought a 3rd one if I didn't think it was getting Legends in 11th edition. Damn the UK for having reasonable prices for those things. Well, Element Games knocked 20% off the RRP, I think. Something like that. It's pretty sick, actually, Element Games. You just need to take a holiday to the UK, man. And have an empty suitcase, right? Yeah, because it's supposed to be 45, but they let you save 15%. And then Element Games, I think if you spend 80, you get free delivery and you get loyalty. You get loyalty points as well for every pound spent. I literally only buy from Element Games. I only buy from Games Workshop if I absolutely have to. Cully says, hopefully they don't go to Legends. Dude, I would be willing to... I feel like there's like a 90% chance that they go to Legends. I don't think we're going to see barely any Firstborn Marine stuff in 11th edition. They already got rid of like more than half of it for 10th, right? Like I think they'll get rid of like, maybe it won't be all of it, but I think there'll be a good chunk of it gone. Do we have to pay tariffs if we can carry it back? I don't know, Jason. Maybe you'll have to pay tariffs. Hey, your last name is Trump. Are you not related to Mr. Tariff? No? My guess is the same. Like, I think that I got hit really badly. Like, right before 10th edition, I bought like 4 units, commissioned them all, and 3 of them went Legends. And commission painting is an expensive thing to do, especially if you're going to buy the model, get someone to paint it up to a high standard, send it out to you. Like, if a tank costs $50, I would say, like, rule of thumb, the cost of the commission painting is probably about double what you pay for the tank. So if you buy 3 $50 models, then you'll be looking at like the best part of $200-300 for the commission, right? So, yeah, right before 10th edition, I did like a £400 commission or something. And then it was like, bang, all these models are Legends. So, I get it. I think it's super scary to buy Firstborn stuff. VT says I'm not even looking at Firstborn models right now. Yeah, I haven't been looking at them for a while. But yeah, it's an interesting one because some of the Firstborn stuff has had like a bit of real life in 10th edition, right? Like Devastator squads right now have a bit of life. Devastator squads haven't had life in ages. Vindicator tanks obviously have a little bit of life. Predator tanks have a bit of life. Maybe it'll be like half of what's remaining in 11th and half of what's remaining in 12th. But this crazy thing is like just we have no idea, right? And they're not going to tell us. That's the thing that makes it tricky, right? They won't tell us. Okay, let's look at the 5th and final list for tonight, and this was submitted by Quicks. And this is an Angelic host list, which we barely ever see on the channel. 11th edition is a way off yet. It'll be summer next year. So it's like, and it's usually June when they say summer. So it's like 17 months. That's just the thing, right? Like, I guess if you're happy to spend a couple of $100 now and know that they might be redundant in 17 months, if you need to buy tanks for a list right now, what would you get? So I'm lucky in that I have all the old tanks, right? Like I've got 2 Ball Predators, and I've got 2 Predator Destructors, and I've got 2 Vindicator tanks, and I've got 2 Land Raiders. I don't know why I've got 2 of all the old ones, but apparently I do. 2 Whirlwinds. So I actually went ahead and I have bought and commissioned. This is a while back now because I have them here. They're commissioned. They're done. I bought 2 Gladiator Lancers. Because I assume that in the future all the other tanks are going to be removed, and I'm going to have, if I want to have anti-tank fire support, I'm going to need Gladiator Lancers. I also bought Desolation Marines, and I was like halfway through painting them because I assume in the future, once 11th edition comes and they rework Desolation Marines to actually make sense, because I think right now they still don't make sense. So once they rework Desolation Marines in 11th edition, I assume I'm going to need Desolation Marines. So I have bought the Primaris stuff in preparation, but I think that Like right now in my tournament list. Oh, I've bought repulsors as well. Yeah. I've got a repulsor as well. I bought that too. So I've got all the Primaris stuff in preparation. But I think in my tournament list at the moment, I ran a Ballistus Dreadnought, a Predator Destructor, and a Vindicator tank. That's the thing that probably annoys me the most about the Legend stuff, right? Is because like I still buy all the new models. I think most engaged players buy all the new models. I don't need you to Legends my old stuff. I'm still going to buy the new stuff. Legending my old stuff just makes me angry that I can't use the old stuff. You know, like I have the fucking giant falchion tank, right? The falchion tank is so, or over the last, since I've had it, because I've had it like 10 years, in the 10 years that I've had the falchion tank, I never took it to a tournament. Not a one-day tournament, not a two-day tournament, because it was never really that competitive. But was it cool to have? Yes. Was it cool to be able to play it? Yes. Was it cool to maybe have the option of taking it to a tournament? Yes. But I never actually took it to a tournament because it's like, the falchion's not really that competitive. And people kind of, like, I had Leviathan Dreadnoughts. And I feel like I never run the Leviathan. I feel like I never took a Leviathan Dreadnought to a tournament either. Leviathan Dreadnoughts were a great Dreadnought. I used them on my stream a bunch of times, but I feel like I never took them to the tournament because the Horus Heresy stuff generally wasn't that competitive, and it was also quite costly in terms of like actual points cost, right? And like I said, I buy all the new models, so I don't really. When they Legends everything, their argument was that there's too many data sheets, but we've still got a crap load of useless data sheets. Someone mentioned it in the chat earlier. I think Highland Phoenix was like, the Firestrike servo turret, is it a replacement for Lancer? The only thing the Firestrike servo, because I've got a Firestrike servo turret, I actually, do you know what's fucked up about this is, I was trying to look through some of my old orders, like on Element Games, and the only reason I was looking for my old orders was because I wanted to know when I bought the Thousand Suns, because I bought my Thousand Sun models, like, it was embarrassing, it's like 8 years ago, I haven't painted them or made them. But I saw that I ordered a Firestrike servo turret. Like, I want to say I ordered it like 6 years ago now or something. It was a ridiculous amount of time ago. It was like 5 years ago. And I got it and I built it and I sprayed it red and then I literally put it in a drawer and never thought about it again. But the only thing the Firestrike servo turret is good for is a paperweight, honestly. 75 points for a paperweight. I don't know what else you can use it for. I mean, it doesn't even like, its las cannon isn't even a las cannon. It's just like a crap version of it. And its autocannon gets 3 shots twin linked. Why do you not just take a Predator? I don't know, man. It's a twin link paperweight. There you go, Highland. Don't like, I've had this thing like, I've had it ready to go now for like 5 years. It's never going in a list. I don't know how you put it in a list. I think balancing the game would just be a huge headache with the firstborn still in there. Yeah, I think they should, like, I think for the Primaris squads, they should have just updated the firstborn squads. Like what they did with the Terminators, man. It should have just been Primaris Tactical Squad, and you could use the old Tactical Squad, or you could buy the cool looking Primaris ones, and I think most people over time would have bought the new ones. Because as much as I like old metal models, you drop them on the floor and their arms ping off or their axes break or whatever, whereas like the new plastic ones are much more durable, they're also much nicer to paint. And I think that would have just been a cleaner, like, they're kind of doing that with the Eldar and stuff, right? Like, their re-releases or their plastic models are just the old kits, whereas like, I guess for Space Marines everything needs to be different. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. If I was buying tanks right now, I think just because my gut tells me that nothing. My gut tells me in 11th edition a lot more firstborn stuff will be legends. And anything that they keep into 11th edition will be like it'll be spun to try and be exciting. It'll be like, oh well, you can still have Devastator squads or you can still have tactical squads, but no one will run those things and no one will care. The good stuff, like the Vindicator tanks, or for example like the attack bikes or your Vanguard veterans or your Sanguinary Priest with jump packs, all the good stuff will just go. While they try and like reset the balance. Antonius says, I hate how the Eldar just get new models and then we get Death Company Marines with bolt rifles. Yeah, it's like that they know that Space Marines are their biggest audience and they just want to sell all us Space Marine players more models. And yeah. Alright, let's look at this Angelic's host list, right? Seeing all our ag lists, here's an Angelic host list. It seems crazy to only put one Sanguinary Guard brick, but after playing the list with two, I'm not convinced we have the points or resources to support that. Especially seeing how strong Inceptors are with this detachment. Sanguinary Guard don't do anything in Angelic host without proper setup, since this detachment shoots quite a lot, and especially with those Inceptors. I want to try the Speeder with +1 to wound. Okay, so we've got Captain with a jump pack, who's got that like movement, reactive move. And we've got the Sanguinar. We've got Assault Intercessors with jump packs ×2. We've got Ballistus Dreadnoughts ×3. We've got Inceptors with plasmas ×2. And we've got one with... Sorry, no. Inceptors with plasmas ×2. We've got a squad of Infiltrators. We've got a squad of Sanguinary Guard. We've got a squad of Scouts. We've got the +1 to wound Speeder. And then we've got a squad of Suppressors. Interesting. Okay. So 3 Ballistus Dreadnoughts, 2 units of Inceptors, +1 to wound Speeder. Couple of Assault Intercessor squads, Sanguinary Guard squad, -1 to hit Suppressor squad. I do want to try Suppressors. What? Has anyone in chat actually been playing Suppressors? Buying an Astraeus is 100% viable, says Hadley. Yeah, I mean, I guess the Astraeus is a Primaris tank, and do you know what? I have actually taken an Astraeus to a tournament, so how many years have they had without a standalone kit for Suppressors? Well, since they ever came out, man. So, like, I think they came out Shadow Spear. I think that was 9th edition, right? Do you know what? I need to just quickly look at Angelic Host because I must admit I've never played Angelic Host. It's not a detachment that I'm like, ooh, Angelic Host. I must have read it. I think it's because you get to put 2 units back into reserve every turn. That's the detachment ability, isn't it? Yeah, so you put 2 units back up into the sky every turn. That is probably your 2 units of Inceptors. You've got the reactive move, but you don't really have anything. You've got nothing that boosts melee. You do have Angel Sacrifice, that's something. You've got Armor of Contempt. You can get full hits and wound rerolls on the Sanguinary Guard. You can get lethal hits and precision on a unit. You can deep strike within 6. But the Inceptors already have that, so why would you need that? And you can declare a charge in a turn when you advance or fall back. I mean, it seems okay. 6 Inceptors dropping down, killing some stuff, being both picked back up. 3 Ballistus Dreadnoughts to provide some fire support, a couple of units of Jump Intercessors, 1 big unit of Sanguinary Guard, +1 to wound, -1, 1 unit of Scouts, and the Infiltrators. I mean, it seems okay. I just don't know how I really improve it because I don't play Angelic Host. Shadow Spear was the end of 8th. Was it? I thought Shadow Spear was after Dark Imperium. Dark Imperium was 8th of it. Yeah, so Shadow Spear was halfway through 8th then. Because Dark Imperium was 8th, Indomitus was 9th, Leviathan was 10th. So yeah, about 6 years Suppressors haven't had a standalone kit. That's about right. One squad of Suppressors for me to apply -1 to Ballistic Skill and -1 to WS is fantastic. Doesn't Angelic Inheritors do everything Angelic Host wants to do, just better? Sort of. I mean, I guess you don't get to pick up 2 units every turn. And you don't get the reactive move from Gleaming Pinions, which is, I guess, your Jump Captain, which is attached to your Sangre Guard, has like a... If the enemy moves within 9 inches of the Sangre Guard, you just get to move 6 inches, which is pretty useful sometimes, right? Reactive moves are very powerful. I can't wait to see the name of the Marine box set. They come out at the end of 10th. Well, the one at the end of 9th, I've got that one. It was Augustus. Strike Force Augustus. What did we get? We got Heavy Intercessors. We got Desolation Marines, was it? And a Ballistic Dreadnought? And you do get the uppy downy from the strat, you are right. +1 to wound is very powerful in shooting. I think +1 to wound when you've got 3 Ballistic Dreadnoughts and 6 Plasma Scepters is pretty good. What did I say? Did I say a Ballistic Dreadnought? Sorry, I meant Brutalis Dreadnought. The famous Desolation Marines. Do you know what? I was thinking of running Desolation Marines in Angelic Inheritors because I think that with rerolls to wound, they could be pretty useful if you're fighting Eldar that have crap loads of D cannons. Because I fucking hate playing against Eldar where they cover half the board with their D cannons and they're like, if you move into my half of the board, I'm just going to indirect you with these D cannons, which of course are -4 AP for some dumb reason, and minimum of 3 damage as well. Desolations with an Apothecary? Yes, because I just want them to be as cheap as possible and have a character attached to them so that they can get their rerolls, right? And Desolation Marines, I think, can't be led by a lieutenant. So a lieutenant would have been perfect because of the lethal hits. But I think you have to basically lead them with the Tech Marine or Apothecary. Like, I don't really think you need either of these things, but you just want them to be led by a character so that they can reroll 1s to wound, and then you can use the strat on them to give them sustained. But Desolation Marines are crazy expensive, right? They came out at 140 points, and they're up at 200 now. I don't think they need to be 200 points. So that might be the limiting factor of playing them. It's just like, these guys are too expensive. Yeah, I would take Super Crack on them, Highland. What about Leaderless Sternguard in Angelic Inheritors? They still get full hits and rerolls on the Oath target. They're still decently cheap without a character. I mean, I think Sternguard are reasonably decent anyway, right? With the potential devastating wounds. I actually kind of like the idea of giving the Sternguard the Sangori Priest to lead them. Because their melee becomes a bit more exciting if they've got led by a Sangori Priest. The Sangori Priest is too expensive. If he's like 70 points or something, sure. I think he's like 90. Yeah, he was 90 points when he had a jump pack. We know that, like, historically Games Workshop have put attacks on characters that have a jump pack of about 25 points. So for some reason this guy is 25 points overcosted. Because it literally used to, like, if you go back an edition, it used to be like, if you could add a jump pack to any character, right? Like, you could have I don't think you would maybe have a tech marine with a jump pack, but you could definitely have like a chaplain, and it was because you never used to have chaplain with jump pack and chaplain as two separate data sheets, right? That used to just be a chaplain, and a war gear option of a jump pack was like 25 points. Because you used to get the librarian, which you could give the jump pack for 25 points. Right at the start of like 8th edition, everybody was running that librarian with the jump pack. Because he could null zone. That was it, right? Can a Sanguinary Priest join Company Heroes? No. I mean, it feels like the only squad that really good for him to join for Blood Angels is Assault Intercessors. And I guess for some reason the Sanguinary Priest can't join to Blade Guard. I guess they feel like that's too strong. I think he would actually be I think he would be dope in Blade Guard. Give the Blade Guard a 5-up, feel no pain, and give them an extra point of AP so they're AP 3 on their swords. I would love that. They used to have Tech Marines with jump packs. I guess I never had that. I had Librarian with a jump pack, and I had Sanguinary. I had 2 Sanguinary Priests with jump packs. But yeah, I think if we're going to be coming up against Eldar and they're going to be having support weapons everywhere, I need to actually map out, like, would a unit of Desolation Marines standing still, which means they ignore cover. That's their ability, right? Yeah. If they stand still, they ignore cover. So if they're standing still and you get this weapon and you get 4 of these weapons, can they kill a support weapon every turn if you oath them? Well, maybe you might not even need to oath the moment if you stand still. Because this hits on 2s, and you're rerolling 1s because you're led by a character. And this hits on 3s, and you're rerolling 1s. Oh, it's indirect though, so it's -1 to hit. Is that right? I haven't used indirect fire in ages. Indirect fire is -1 to hit. Right? I used the whirlwind so often in 9th edition, and I literally never use it anymore. Is anyone running a regular ancient? Those dudes are cheap. I may run with one with Sternguard. I mean, if you want to get the Angelic Inheritors bonus, then yeah, sure, run an ancient because it's super cheap. And what did he gives? He doesn't give much though, right? Like, he's just got the banner. I know he gets like a 4-up feel no pain on himself, but it doesn't affect his squad. Yeah, so he's just got the banner to give 1 OC. And who can he lead? So you just have him lead a unit of Sternguard or something? Don't forget, if you shoot indirectly, you can only hit on a 4-up at best. Alright, so you kind of need to use Oath of Moment, probably. Well, here's the thing, though. Would an Oath of Moment unit of Desolation Marines actually kill a D platform, or whatever it is these days? This website's probably not updated. And I haven't downloaded the leaked... I know the whole Eldar Codex got leaked, but I didn't look at it. Is this still accurate for support weapon? Or has anyone got the leaked Eldar Codex that can tell me how powerful the support weapon is in terms of like wounds, toughness, that sort of stuff? I think one thing to consider as well, though, is like the attaching characters to units is brand new in this edition, right? Like, it's the first edition that we've attached characters to units. I know that happened like many editions ago, but I feel like they've done a somewhat good job of that. I think I prefer it to, like the auras that we had last edition, where like you have all those overlapping bubbles of reroll hits or reroll ones and all that sort of nonsense. I think the attaching characters to units has worked pretty well. So hopefully, over time, they'll get better at the attaching options. I wish they could leave and join other units. Yeah, it would make sense, like, if a unit has lost, if the entire unit is dead and the character is still alive, it would make sense, like, if he could get within coherency of another unit, he could just attach. That would be pretty cool. Maybe it costs you, like, a CP or something, like, because it would make sense. It's like, oh, he's doing a command thing, he's joining another unit. I don't know. That's a good point. I like the idea, Indonius. It should be a little bit more flexible. Maybe it could just be 1 CP for any character to be like, I am Dante.
I have awoken.
Thank you so much for subscribing, Mr. Buck. Like, I'm Commander Dante. The unit of Sangre Guard I was with has been decimated. I am leaving you guys to fend for yourself, and I am joining this unit of intercessors, for example. Toughness 6-5 wounds, is that accurate? Then I guess I need to see how well Desolation, because that's not going to be great on wound rolls, I suppose. The support platforms have been split into 3. Well, I guess I'll have to check. I just know how difficult it is to deal with D-cannons as Space Marines when they've got like 3 of them covering their whole half of the board. They move 7? Jesus Christ, okay. Why? Cool. They've got even more threat range than before then. Just what I needed to know. Alright, I think that is about the end of this week's Army Show, guys. If you want to submit your list for next week's show, you know where to put it. Thank you so much for hanging out this Sunday. Do appreciate it. I'm going to be trying an Angelic inheritors list on Wednesday night, I think. I'm probably not going to try like the double Vindicator thing, though. I'm probably gonna stick with some variant of the Liberator assault group stuff that I was playing, right? So I'll probably stick with the Ballistus Dreadnought, the Predator Destructor, and the Vindicator tank. I'm not gonna take Devastator Marines because I don't really like playing Devastator Marines. I might try Desolation Marines, but probably not this week, right? But maybe I'll see if I can fit in a squad of suppressors. Just because I should really get round to trying the suppressors. And then I'm going to do 3 units of Sangre Guard. Will you try a full Death Company list at some point? I don't think it's very good, JDI. I mean, I'll try it for fun maybe at some point, but in terms of like practice for a tournament, no. The Death Company detachment rule is bad, and the Death Company data sheets are pretty below average, I'd say. What, you don't like Devastators driving around the battlefield hopping out of Rhinos? Well, could they just stay in? The Rhinos got firing decks. They could stay inside some of them. Treat the suppressors as snipers. Yeah, I was just going to use them to -1 to hit whatever really I'm worried about that's going to kill me, right? Try a unit of Firestrike servo turrets? No. I will try the Chaplain with the Outriders, so I think that'll be a fun one to try. But yeah, I need to go back to the drawing board and build some Angelic inheritors. I've got the Sanguiner. I put 3 colours on him last night, so I'll probably run the Sanguiner for the first time in ages as well, and see if we can get some value out of him in Angelic inheritors. But yeah, have a great evening. Thank you so much for watching, guys. It's been fun. I'll see you next Sunday, and there'll be content throughout the week as always. If you've got any questions, you can leave them in the video comments. I was going to say description. No, I do the description. You do the comments. Suppressors work well in a 2v2 tournament I was in, says Clint. Yeah, I guess I've tried the Reavers now. I need to try the Suppressors. Let them get a shot. But yeah, I mean, I haven't booked my next GT, but I'd like to start working on figuring out what I like playing in Angelic Inheritors to play at a GT at some point in the future. And maybe it's a good idea to not double down on Vindicator tanks, because I don't know if Vindicator tanks will get nerfed. But if everybody's taking 2 of them and no one's taking their Gladiator Lancers, maybe it would be better if Gladiator Lancers just went down in points. But usually Games Workshop make things that are popular more expensive and don't address the fact that other things that are less expensive are just not good. That's usually how it works. So, I mean, that's kind of what happened with the Desolation Marines, right? They went to 200 points. Very few people run them now, but they've just been left at 200 points. Redemptor Dreadnoughts, they're good in Iron Storm. I'd say they're not very good for anybody else, but they're crazy points. Is what it is, I guess. Alright, have a nice evening, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon. Peace. Good night.